Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today
Okay.
into a research paper that really has me thinking.
Okay.
It's called Extending Language Model Context, up to 3 million tokens on a single GPU.
Mm.
That's a mouthful, I know.
Yeah.
But basically, we're talking about supercharging LLMs
Yeah.
and making them able to work with these massive, massive chunks of text.
Yeah. It's really about putting the limits of how much information these LLMs can handle at once.
Okay, so imagine like, I don't know,
Right.
trying to summarize a 100-page legal document
Yeah.
with today's LLMs.
Right.
You'd have to like break it up into little tiny pieces, right?
You would, and you'd probably miss the bigger picture doing that.
Exactly. You might miss some crucial connections and end up with an inaccurate summary.
Exactly, and that's a problem.
So why is that so hard? Like, why can't LLMs just, read these huge documents like we do?
Well, you have to think about how these LLMs actually work. They use something called the attention mechanism to analyze relationships between words.
Okay.
And it's kind of like comparing every single frame of a movie to see how they connect. It works fine for a short clip.
Right.
But with like a 3-hour epic,
Yeah.
it just becomes this massive computational challenge.
Right. So it's like giving the LLM an information overload.
Exactly. It just gets overwhelmed.
And that's where this key value cache comes in, right?
Yeah, that's like you can think of it as the LLM's short-term memory. It stores the most important connections it finds.
Okay.
But like our own short-term memory, it has limits.
So I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
We need to either expand that short-term memory or teach LLMs to process information way more efficiently.
Right. We got to find some way to make it work.
So I know there are techniques out there, like I've heard of flash attention
Yeah.
and KV cache eviction. Like, what are those and why aren't they like the perfect solution?
So flash attention, that's a good one. It's like it tries to speed up the attention process,
Okay.
but it doesn't really solve the underlying problem of how much computing power it takes.
Okay. So still computationally expensive.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's KV cache eviction, which is
Like clearing out your browser history?
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like clearing out some of the LLM's short-term memory to make room for new stuff.
Okay.
But the problem is you might end up losing valuable information.
Yeah.
Like going back to the movie analogy, it's like cutting out important scenes.
Oh, so you might miss key plot points.
Right. You might get to the end faster, but you've lost crucial parts of the story.
Okay. So we need a solution that's both fast and doesn't throw away important information.
Exactly. That's the holy grail.
And that's where InfiniteHiP comes in, right?
Yes.
The name certainly sounds promising.
It does, and it lives up to the name. It's a new approach that takes the best of existing solutions
Okay.
and adds some really clever new tricks.
I like it.
One of the coolest is this modular hierarchical pruning. So imagine the LLMs reading a news article. InfiniteHiP can figure out which sentences are just fluff.
Like about the weather or something?
Exactly.
Right.
And it can just toss those out while keeping the important information.
So it's like a super efficient filter, getting rid of the noise and focusing on the signal.
Precisely.
That's cool, but what about the order of words?
Ah, yeah, that's super important for context.
Right, because just reading the important words wouldn't tell the whole story.
Exactly.
Like word order matters.
Yeah, and InfiniteHiP addresses this with dynamic rope adjustment. It's kind of like, imagine you're reading a book, and you have these numbered bookmarks for each word. InfiniteHiP can adjust those bookmarks as it reads so it never gets lost, even with a super long text.
So it's like it's constantly adapting its understanding of where it is in the text.
Right.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah, the researchers really thought this through.
So it sounds like InfiniteHiP is doing a lot to help LLMs handle these massive texts.
It is.
But the big question is, does it actually work?
Well, they put it through its paces. They tested it on these benchmarks called long bench and bench.
Those sound intense.
Yeah, they're designed to be tough.
Okay.
And InfiniteHiP absolutely crushed it. It outperformed all the other methods.
Okay, so it passes the test. That's great.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for real-world stuff?
Right, so let's think about it.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to summarize like a mountain of legal documents in an instant.
Oh, wow.
Or being able to dive deep into a research topic and have the LLMs synthesize like key points from tons of articles.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
I can already see how this could change the way we work, how we learn.
Yeah, the possibilities are huge.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, though, right?
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
I want to dive deeper into those real-world applications and see how big of a deal with InfiniteHiP really could be.
Let's do it.
So we've talked about how InfiniteHiP can process all this information.
Right.
But what really gets me is like, could this actually make LLMs smarter?
Oh, absolutely.
Not just faster.
That was a key focus for the researchers. They didn't just want to see if InfiniteHiP could handle more text.
Right.
They wanted to know if it could actually improve how well the LLMs understand what they're reading.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they tested it with tasks that really require that deep comprehension.
Okay.
Like being able to answer really complex questions from these huge documents.
Gotcha. And what did they find?
Well, the results were really fascinating.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about speed.
Yeah.
InfiniteHiP actually boosted the LLM's performance on these complex tasks.
So it's like it was unlocking some kind of hidden potential.
Yeah, like they were suddenly able to use all this extra information to make these really sophisticated connections.
Wow.
And what's even more interesting is they found that InfiniteHiP could even improve the performance of LLMs that were originally designed for short texts.
Oh, wow. So like models that weren't even built for this?
Exactly, but with InfiniteHiP, they were suddenly able to tap into this wider range of information.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
How does this affect like me or anyone listening,
Right.
who might not be a researcher but still uses LLMs every day?
So imagine a world where LLMs become like
Yeah.
really indispensable tools.
Okay.
Imagine having an LLM that can help you write a research paper by just pulling information from hundreds of sources.
Wow.
Or one that could analyze a mountain of legal documents and pinpoint the most important clauses.
Okay, those are some seriously cool applications.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning. I mean,
Yeah.
we could see LLMs revolutionize education.
How so?
Like imagine students having personalized AI tutors that can adapt to their learning style and pace.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And researchers could use these LLMs to analyze these enormous data sets, uncover hidden patterns
Wow.
that could lead to like groundbreaking discoveries.
It sounds like we're on the verge of like a massive shift
Yeah,
in how we learn, how we work,
absolutely.
even how we create.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
It's like all those sci-fi movies where everyone has a super intelligent AI companion.
Right.
Suddenly they don't seem so far-fetched.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But it's also a bit, I don't know,
It-
makes you think.
it does.
If LLMs can handle this much information,
Yeah,
what does that mean for the future?
that's the big question, right?
Like, how will this impact fields like creative writing? Could we see novels co-written by humans and AI?
That's a thought-provoking question.
It is. I want to explore that further. Okay, so we've seen how InfiniteHiP could change LLMs,
Yeah,
making them faster, smarter,
right.
able to deal with just mountains of information.
It's impressive stuff.
It really is, but
Yeah.
it also kind of makes you wonder where it all leads, right?
It does. It raises some big questions about the future.
Like, as LLMs get more powerful,
Right.
more integrated into our lives,
Mm-hmm.
we got to think about the long-term implications, right?
We do.
It's like,
Yeah,
we're at the beginning of something totally new,
I think so.
and it's up to us to figure out how it all plays out.
Yeah, we have a responsibility to guide this technology in the right direction.
So it's not just about the tech itself.
No,
It's about how we use it.
it is.
It's like any powerful tool.
Right.
It can be used for good or for, not so good.
It all depends on the choices we make.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that all this amazing LLM tech leads us to a better future?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to focus on responsible development.
Okay.
Like, we need to make sure that these LLMs are designed and trained in a way that aligns with our values.
That sounds a bit abstract. What does that actually look like?
Well, for one thing, it means being really careful about the data we use to train them.
Okay.
Imagine training an LLM on a data set full of biased information.
Right.
It's like teaching a student only one side of a story.
Yeah, their understanding is going to be skewed.
Exactly, and they might even perpetuate those biases in their own work.
So it's all about balance, making sure those LLMs are learning from a wide range of perspectives.
Exactly, we need to be sure they're getting the full picture.
Okay, what else?
Well, security is a big one, too.
Right, because these are powerful tools.
Yeah, we need to make sure they don't fall into the wrong hands.
So we need safeguards, ways to prevent misuse.
Exactly.
But what about us? Like the everyday users?
That's a great point.
What can we do?
We can't just leave it to the developers. We all have a responsibility here.
Okay, so what can we, as listeners, what can we actually do?
Well, first of all, stay curious.
Okay.
Keep learning about these developments, the potential benefits, the challenges.
The more you know, the better, right?
Exactly. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to make good decisions.
So keep listening to podcasts like this one.
Exactly.
Okay, good advice.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions. Just because something was generated by AI doesn't mean it's automatically true or ethical, right?
Right.
Develop those critical thinking skills, those fact-checking habits.
Don't believe everything you read, especially if a robot wrote it.
Exactly.
Got it.
And finally, remember that technology is a tool,
Mm-hmm.
and it's up to us to decide how we use it.
Yeah?
We need to be actively involved in shaping the future.
The future we want.
Yeah, one where these LLMs are used to empower humanity, not control it.
That's a powerful message. I like that.
It's something we all need to keep in mind.
Well, this deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
We've explored this groundbreaking tech behind InfiniteHiP.
Yeah.
We've imagined all these potential applications, and we've even grappled with some of those ethical considerations.
It's been a great discussion.
It really has, and it's clear that LLMs are going to reshape the world in some really profound ways.
They already are, and it's only going to accelerate from here.
And to all our listeners, we encourage you to stay curious, stay informed, and join the conversation about the future of LLMs.
It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, this is The Deep Dive, signing off.